I'll bet you anything you want that after Sunday's finale, half of what I'm gonna say in this video will be proven wrong. Westworld, it's nearing the conclusion of its first amazing series. I have talked weeks after weeks after weeks with friends of mine and you beautiful geekies because you always create great debate in the comment section of the Westworld review and analysis, and I love it and I thank you guys. For those of you who are nice in correcting me or telling me if I am wrong, thank you guys, because there are just too many rude people on the internet, but you beautiful geekies are always the best at correcting me and without taking it the wrong way. So thank you. But now I'm going to present several theories that I'm sure this show will make me look like a fool after the Sunday's episode is over, but I'm going to present them anyway. I am risking myself. I am risking this being made to look like a fool, as if it wasn't already for you guys. But in correlating with episode 9 that we saw this past week, I'm going to bet you things. Bernard will be rebooted by this episode's finale and something big will happen, because Ford tells him that this has happened before. He has killed him before. He has rebooted him before. And we now know that he is Arnold, at least to the eyes of Dolores, if not for the eyes of many other people, because who wouldn't question Bernard not getting older? We'll get to that. So I'm betting Bernard will be rebooted and he's going to give us a great reveal. Maybe that he is conscious of every reboot that he's gone through so far that we've seen on the show. I also believe we're going to find out where older Hemsworth is, and he's going to be right next to Elsie, who I firmly believe Bernard didn't kill. I bet they are being kept hostage somewhere. I bet Bernard is keeping them there to keep them safe for his master plan to take over Ford to work. And yes, I am going to call him Bernard. I'm going to call him Bernard and not Arnold or Bernardnold, although that is a very cool name, and if my theories are wrong come the finale, beginning next season, I'm going to call him Bernardnold. But continuing on with last week's episode, we have this recurring theme in episode 9 of trauma being illuminating for the characters and for people in general and for hosts and for humans. We have that theme going on with William and Logan, and we have that theme going on with Bernard and Ford. But the episode ends right after a huge trauma reveals itself to Dolores. The traumas she has gone through reveal themselves as Bernard meeting Arnold. And when she goes up again to the church, we see the Man in Black. And he says, "Hi, Dolores. Look, since the series beginning, we've been discussing several timelines, and the Man in Black being a future version of William. That is 99.9% confirmed. But listen to this. Earlier episodes showed us a scene where the Man in Black takes Dolores from Teddy and he drags her out to the barn. At the time, we believed that the Man in Black was going to rape her or something like that, but maybe he isn't, because according to this episode, trauma is illuminating. And what is not trauma in the Man in Black killing her father, killing her boyfriend being Teddy at the time, and dragging her out to a barn to maybe rape her or beat her up or just leave her there to be burned? That is a huge trauma for this woman. And what if that trauma will remind Dolores that the Man in Black is William? Because right now she's afraid of him. But if she remembers that he is William, what will she feel? How will she feel? Will she remember that she was in love with him? That he was in love with her? Think about this. Dolores, she's not just a host. She's one of the hosts created by Arnold. I'm going to say Arnold, not Bernard, not Bernardnold. We're going to get to that. Dolores is a host created by Arnold. Arnold wanted to create the real consciousness inside the hosts, make them real humans. And so, Ford has been deleting Dolores' mind after all the traumas she has gone through, just like he did with Mavis, just like he has been doing with Bernard. Or so we believe, because maybe Bernard has been rebooting her mind at the orders of Ford. But let's just put that aside. Dolores has been rebooted several times, period. And now William wants her to remember him as he was, because right now, as we found out 2 episodes ago, episode 8, he is a real bitter man. His wife died, his daughter doesn't care about him, no one cares. Everyone sees him as this villain, as this massive bad guy, as this evil dude. Dolores maybe will be the only person that sees him for the William he was. And maybe season 2, if we get that reveal by the finale, we'll get to see the William that was William in the Men in Black. And I think that will be a great dimension for Ed Harris to bring to his performance. I would really love to see that, but let's just not speculate too much, because I get traumatized every Monday morning when I watch these episodes and bring you guys these reviews. Even though this is not a review, this is a theory brainstorm, which my mind will explode by the end, and then I'll have to edit this tomorrow. I love you guys so much. But the reason the Man in Black is after Dolores might not be just because he wants her to remember him as William, as that good, nice guy we all know and love. Maybe he wants her to find a maze. Because, as I said, she's one of Arnold's special hosts, one of the chosen hosts, let's call them, to find the maze, to know where the maze is, to have a real conscience. And that's why she was different. That's why William believed she was different, even though he didn't know that at the time. But then he saw her inside, and he had a trauma. Maybe, as I said in the review, that was the click for William to just be flipped out of his mind and beginning to change into the Man in Black. And that's why he doesn't care about Ford being on the board or not, because he's going after Dolores, he's going after Arnold, he's going to achieve his mission no matter what. That's what he believes, and that's what he wants. I believe I got done with everything about Dolores and the Men in Black. We're going to resume that if I remember anything else. Now let's go to Ford and to Bernard. We learned last week that Bernard is Arnold. Hashtag Bernarnold. And we also learned that Dolores killed him. How? How did she kill Arnold? Did she really kill Arnold? Did she kill Bernard and she recognizes him as Arnold? Did she kill Arnold and Arnold asked her to do so? And did she kill Arnold at the orders of Ford? I know this is crazy, but listen to me. Let's imagine that in a very simple world where Westworld is not this complex mix and tapestry of ideas that make our minds hurt of so much thinking, inevitably, let's think if Arnold wanted to create real conscience to the hosts, and Ford saw that he achieved this with, let's say, Dolores, but Ford still didn't believe this could be possible. So what did he do? He killed his best friend Arnold, he transferred his mind into the body that would be Bernard, and he made him believe that he was Arnold to see if this was right. But now maybe this worked too much, and now Ford wants to keep rebooting and rebooting and rebooting Bernard. Now let's go to the other options. What if Dolores killed Arnold by his own orders? What was Arnold's true purpose by doing that? And did she really kill him if that was what happened? Did he really die? Is he the man inside the maze that we see that the Man in Black is looking for? What is the maze? We see that it looks like a constellation. We see that it looks like a cerebral pattern. We don't know what the maze really is. That is honestly the biggest question I think that we are not asking ourselves at this moment. Dolores killed Arnold. Let's say that. Because when Bernard looks at the picture when he first wakes up in the flashback, he sees Ford, Arnold, and him. So what does this truly mean? Why does Bernard see the other Arnold, who by the way is also played by the father of that family that we see Bernard finding out in the episode where he finds out that he is a host, where we find out that he is a host, that we have the little kid Ford that we know it's Ford when he was a child, but the father of that family is the same actor who plays Arnold in the picture. That is weird. Plays Arnold in a picture? Let's imagine that Arnold really is dead, and that every other reference that we ever heard about Arnold, apart from Ford, is people looking at Bernard, hosts looking at Bernard, people seeing Arnold in Bernard. He is Arnold to the rest of the characters besides Ford. So what does the family truly mean? Is there a twofold reason besides Ford seeing his childhood again? I mean, of course it is. We're talking about Westworld here, people. But what is it? Why was Arnold chosen to be Ford's father? Why? Why is Arnold so important if Ford can rest sure that he is in Arnold's body? If his conscience is trapped in there, his mind, and he can keep rebooting it and rebooting it, of course there's the danger of him keeping remembering it from flashbacks. but still there's not really a danger of Arnold really coming back. And even if there is, that gives him even less reasons to create a father for his child self as Arnold. Okay, let's move on to Bernard going to find Elsie and older Hemsworth. What will he want? Will he want them to help Maeve and Rodrigo Santoro? Will he want an uprising from the hosts? Will he use those hosts that are dismissed next to the room where he was talking to Ford? Will he use those hosts to maybe infiltrate Westworld by reassigning them roles in the narratives little by little? Is this Arnold's plan? Is this Arnold's mind inside Bernard working? Is Arnold alive? Is Arnold really there already? Have we seen Arnold? Have we found out where Arnold is and we don't even realize it? I bet this show is going to do something like that. But that is some of the biggest questions that rise up against this show. This show will have to explain a lot. And will we use those hosts again? We have to, one reason or another, one way or the other, we'll have to use those hosts again because we keep seeing them. In this show, we don't see anything by accident. We are not in any location by accident. Something's going to happen to the room where the new narratives were presented by Quartermain. Something's going to happen to that room where we have the big red walls and the big map. Something's going to happen to Teresa, and it did. Something's going to happen in Ford's cabinet, and it did. I do not believe for a second that it is as simple as Bernard is Arnold. I do not believe for a second that his conscience is truly in Bernard, because there are just too many plot holes, evident ones at that rise from Bernard being Arnold and nobody else noticing and nobody else knowing that Arnold never truly existed or that Arnold died before any one of the other workers came to Westworld. But that is where another question rises up, and this is my theory. We are not seeing two timelines. We are seeing three. We have the Dolores and William timeline. That is the oldest timeline. We have the Maeve timeline. Everything we see from Maeve and everything we see from Maeve outside of the Westworld, as she is with the butchers and as she is being taken into interrogation even by Bernard, that is just like right before we start the Man in Black timeline at the latest. Time-wise, we have William and Dolores, we have Maeve, and right next to that, we have the Man in Black's timeline. That is the latest one. The Man in Black came to Westworld, he killed Maeve, Maeve was reassigned, we have her timeline, and we still have Bernard, and we still have Ford. Notice the fades to black in the episodes. Whenever we have a fade to black in each episode, that is when we are going to see a new timeline. For instance, we saw Dolores and William going to Escalante in one episode. The scene faded to black, the scene came right up again, and we start seeing the Men in Black and Teddy also on horses, and they find that girl that helped William into Westworld. That is the change in timelines. I can't remember every single instance where we had a fade to black, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I distinctly remember every single episode having fade to blacks. And that's when I believe we changed timelines. This last episode, episode 9, really messed everything up for me personally, because right now I can't really say which timeline is when before which one, especially when it comes to the Mavis and the Men in Black storyline. Do they interconnect? And is the Mavis timeline, whenever she is outside of Westworld and whenever she is inside of Westworld, the same? Did the Mavis timeline, when she was with the butchers and what else, happened 30 years ago, about the same time as William was hanging out with Dolores, and this Mavis now rebelling and going into hell with Rodrigo Santoro happened at the same time that the Men in Black is in Westworld? We don't ever see these three main characters interlaced with each other, you know? Teddy was accompanying the Men in Black, we saw him with Maeve, but I can't call him a major character, I can call him a main character. The main characters for me are William, the Men in Black. If you count those as two, it's up to you, I count them as one. Maeve, Dolores, and Bernard. Those are the four main characters for me. Hell, maybe we're seeing 4 different timelines and we don't even know it. My guess is 3 timelines. How they intersect, how they interconnect, where are they located, time-wise against each other, I have no idea, except that William and Dolores are the earliest, the Men in Black is the latest, and that is it. Notice the fade to blacks, they will lead your way into the light. Wow, I just made an inspiring quote. Here is my biggest, my craziest, my most fucked up theory, and my head even hurts of thinking about it. Here it is. We see Ford everywhere, and if William, being the Man in Black, happens 30 years in distance within each other, how did Ford not get 1 single day older from here to here? Sure, people come at a point where they are old enough and they don't really age visually anymore. But 30 years, if Anthony Hopkins is like 70 here, he will be 100 here. I mean, you can see that Anthony Hopkins is old, but he is not sickly, and I am sure that Anthony Hopkins being 70 right here will look pretty sickly, going through all this stress and working every single day at every single hour. He will look pretty damn sick when he is 100. Here is my theory, and you all know that the guy is crazy enough to do something like this. Ford has made hosts of himself. Ford has replicated himself into hosts, and if he did kill Arnold and transfer his conscience to Bernard, he worked out a way to have his conscience moved from body to body, from host to host, but he did not die. Imagine the Apocalypse creation in X-Men Apocalypse, and that's how it worked. Before dying, he kept transferring his mind from host body to host body, and so on for these 30 years that we witnessed in the show. Honestly, I don't know how this works out for him. Honestly, I don't know if this is true. This might not be. Everything in this video might be wrong, but these are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves. And did William meet Ford? Will we ever see William meeting Ford? Maybe in season 2. Maybe in this finale we get our answers. I read an article, I think it was by EW, that the finale from Westworld was going to answer all our questions except one. I did not see what that one was. I did not read the article. I saw that headline and I was floored. I want to know what these questions are that are going to be answered, but I want to know them in the episode. And I don't want to know which ones are going to be answered, and I don't want to know which one is not going to be. There are a lot of things that need to happen here. For me, we need to mainly be cleared in the timeline situation. Are we really seeing 2 timelines? Are we seeing 3? Are we maybe seeing more than 3? And how do they interconnect with each other? Time-wise, when is each of them located? I bet, starting in the William timeline, the Earth, the real world in the show is already the future. But I want to know what it is. For instance, in episode 2, I believe, either 2 or maybe 3, but I think it was 2, we saw Bernard going with Ford to the park, and we saw the big tower of the church where you see the cross, and where last week or 2 weeks ago, I believe it was 2 weeks ago in episode 8, we see Dolores looking at the church, having the flashbacks, but then when William snaps her out of the illusion, of the hallucination, she sees only the tower, just like we saw Bernard and Ford. In this instance, we would have seen them inside Westworld. Notice the details that they are inside Westworld, so they can be in different timelines that we see them outside. This was around the time where Dolores was meeting William, so the earliest timeline. If Mavis is like 29 years later, we can still see Ford and Bernard if Ford is transferring his conscience into other host bodies, maybe with the help of Bernard. But here's the main question. The main question. Have we really found out who Arnold is? I flipped myself out when I saw last episode. You guys know that. It's in the review, it's in the channel, it's on the interwebs, but have we really? Do we really know that Bernard is really Arnold? Is that really that simple? Are we really sure at this point of anything? No, I at least am not. I don't trust anyone on this show at the moment. Maybe I trust William, but not the Man in Black, and you guys know I love that guy. My point is, nothing is simple. I could be here theorizing in a 1 hour long video, but I am not going to do that. I am sure you geekies have got your theories as well, and what I want you to do is share them. Share your theories and the thoughts on my theories, the ones I presented in this video, in the comments below, my beautiful geekies. I always love getting your comments on these videos, on these analysis and reviews of Westworld. I always love that we get to talk about and expand our thoughts on what's happening, what's going to happen, what happened before. I love that we can connect characters and situations by talking with each other. That's what I love by doing videos on YouTube. That's what I love by having you guys following me. That's what I love about our community. And of course, go check out the last review and analysis of Westworld that is also on the channel, and start leaving your questions for the hashtag Rogue1 Q&A, my beautiful geekies. The Q&A is coming right after the movie premieres, right after I see it. Of course, you can ask me how many questions you want about anything you want. So don't forget to like and share, because that is an enormous way for you geekies to help me out. I urge you to do that, please. We are nearing 500 subscribers, and I cannot believe this. And so I want to thank you geekies. You guys are the best, and if you are watching this video and have come so far and you still haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Come join us in the beautiful geeky community where we can be geeky united. Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. Once more, thank you for everything, for your support, for your comments, for your thoughts, for your theories, for subscribing, for watching, for liking, sharing, everything. Stay beautiful, stay geeky, and hold on to your cowboy hats, because this finale is going to be a doozy. Shit!